2 weeks later, Admiral Kethmore's fleet reached the edge of Earth's solar system. 500 massive warships moved through space like a dark cloud. Each ship was 3 times bigger than anything humans had ever built, or so the Admiral thought. Send. The surrender message, Admiral Kethmore ordered. His bridge crew moved quickly to obey. They had done this many times before with other primitive worlds. The message went out on all frequencies. Humans of Earth. This is Admiral Kethmore of the Galactic Council Fleet. Your world is now under our control. Surrender immediately and you will be allowed to live as workers. Resist, and we will destroy your cities one by one. The Admiral sat back in his command chair. He expected to receive a surrender message within minutes. Every other primitive species had given up when they saw the size of his fleet. Instead, he got something different. "This is Admiral Steve Parker of the Earth Defense Force," came a calm voice over the radio. "We have received your message. We decline your offer. Leave our solar system now, or we will be forced to remove you." The alien bridge crew looked at each other in confusion. Admiral Kethmore laughed out loud. "Did they just threaten us? With what? Their primitive rockets?" His sensor officer, a creature with 4 arms and green skin, checked his instruments. "Sir, I am not detecting any ships. Our scanners show only empty space around their planet." "Of course," the Admiral said. "They have nothing. Send a second message. Tell them they have 1 hour to surrender or we start bombing their cities." But Captain Ryan Mitchell was already moving. He commanded the EDS Liberty, the flagship of the human fleet. His ship and 40 others had been hiding behind Jupiter's largest moon. They had been waiting there for 2 weeks, invisible to alien sensors. "All ships," he said into his communicator. "Drop stealth mode. Let them see what they are really fighting." Across the solar system, human ships became visible. They appeared out of nowhere like ghosts becoming solid. The alien sensors started screaming warnings as dozens of ships showed up on their screens. Commander Tony Walsh gave orders from Luna Base. "First wave, begin attack run. Target their lead ships. Show them we mean business." Captain Maria Santos led her squadron out of the asteroid belt. Her ships moved faster than the aliens thought possible. They did not look like the primitive rockets the Council expected. They were sleek and deadly, with weapons that glowed with blue energy. Admiral Kethmore stared at his screens in shock. "Where did those ships come from? How many are there?" "I count 60 ships, sir," his sensor officer said. His voice was shaking. "But, sir, these readings cannot be right. These ships are moving at impossible speeds." The first human attack hit the alien fleet like lightning. Maria's ships fired beams of pure energy that cut through alien shields like they were paper. 3 Council warships exploded in the first 10 seconds of the fight. "Impossible!" Admiral Kethmore shouted. "Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy." Dr. Nathan Cole watched the battle from the EDS Darwin, a human science ship. He had spent 20 years studying alien technology. He knew exactly why their weapons worked so well. "The aliens use rotating shield frequencies," he explained to his crew. "They change the frequency every few seconds to block different types of weapons. But we have been watching them for decades. We know all their frequencies." Chief Engineer Laura Thompson made quick adjustments to their weapons. "Rotating our beam frequency to match their next shield change," she said. "Firing now." Her shot punched through the shield of an alien battleship and destroyed its main engine. The huge ship started spinning out of control. Admiral Kethmore tried to fight back, but his fleet was in chaos. The human ships moved in ways that seemed impossible. They could turn sharp corners at full speed. They could stop and start faster. Then his sensors could track. "Sir," his communications officer said, "the humans are jamming our communications. Our ships cannot talk to each other." Captain Tony Walsh had planned this part carefully. Human ships carried special equipment that could block alien communications. Each enemy ship was now fighting alone, unable to coordinate with the others. The battle moved closer to Earth. Admiral Kethmore thought he could win if he got close enough to threaten the human cities. But as his fleet approached Mars, more human ships appeared. Admiral Steve Parker led the main Earth fleet into battle. His ships had been hiding on the far side of Mars, waiting for the aliens to come closer. Now they attacked from behind while Maria's ships hit them from the front. "All ships, focus fire on their command ship," Admiral Parker ordered. "Take out their leader and the rest will run." But Admiral Kethmore was not ready to give up. He ordered his biggest ships to form a battle line. "Show these primitives the power of the Council fleet," he commanded. The alien ships fired their main weapons. Massive energy beams shot toward the human fleet, but the human ships moved like dancers, twisting and turning to avoid the shots. Only 2 human ships were hit, and their shields held. Captain Ryan Mitchell brought the EDS Liberty into close combat with the alien flagship. The 2 ships circled each other, trading shots. But the human ship was faster and more agile. "Target their bridge," Mitchell ordered. "End this quickly." The Liberty's main gun fired. The beam hit the alien flagship's bridge section and tore through the hull. Emergency lights flashed as the alien command center filled with smoke and sparks. Admiral Kethmore felt his ship shaking apart around him. Half his crew was dead or injured. His weapons were offline and his engines were failing. "Sir," his surviving officer said, "we have lost 60% of our fleet. The remaining ships are requesting permission to retreat." For the first time in his career, Admiral Kethmore gave the order to run away. "All ships, withdraw to the outer system. Send a message to the Council. Tell them we need reinforcements." The alien fleet limped away from Earth, leaving behind the wreckage of dozens of ships. The humans had won the first battle, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. Dr. Rebecca Turner monitored the retreat from her command center deep inside a mountain on Earth. She was in charge of Earth's quantum communication network, system that could send messages faster than light. "Send word to all our colonies," she ordered. "Tell them the war has started. It is time for Phase 2. Across the galaxy, on worlds the Council had never discovered, human colonies received the message. They had been waiting for this day for 20 years. Now they began to move. The Great Hall on Nexus Prime stretched higher than any building on Earth. 12 different alien species sat around a massive crystal table that glowed with soft blue light. Each species had ruled their part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They called themselves the Galactic Council. Vexthara stood at the center of the room. She was tall and thin with gray skin and a head twice the size of a human head. Her people, the Zephyrians, could read minds and lived for over 500 years. She was the oldest member of the council, and everyone listened when she spoke. "We have found a new world," she said. Her voice echoed through the hall. "The planet is called Earth. It sits in a perfect spot between 2 major trade routes. The world has water, metals, and everything we need." The other council members leaned forward. A lizard-like creature with red scales spoke first. "What about the natives? Do they have weapons?" Vexthara smiled. "The humans are weak. They only learned to fly 100 years ago. They still fight wars with metal bullets. They have never left their own world except to visit their tiny moon." She waved her hand and a picture appeared in the air above the table. It showed Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. Then the picture changed to show human cities, cars moving on roads, and airplanes in the sky. "Look at this," she said. "They burn fossil fuels for energy. They cannot even talk to each other across their own planet without using radio waves. Their strongest weapons are nuclear bombs that they are afraid to use." The council members laughed. One looked like a giant spider with 6 legs and multiple eyes. "How long do you think it will take to conquer them?" "One day," Vexthara said. "Maybe 2 if they try to hide." The leader of the fish-like aquatic Delians raised a webbed hand. "Are you sure about this information? When was the last time we checked on them?" Vexthara checked her datapad. 30 Earth years ago. Nothing has changed. They are still primitive. They still fight each other over small pieces of land. Half of their world does not even have clean water. What Vexthara did not know was that 30 years was a very long time for humans. On Earth, President Jack Sullivan sat in a room deep underground. The room was part of a huge base built inside a mountain. The base had been secret for 50 years. Dr. Lisa Martinez walked into the room carrying a folder full of papers. She was the head of something called the Aurora Project. For 20 years, she had been studying pieces of alien technology that had crashed on Earth. "The sensors picked up their ships 3 days ago," she said. "They are still 2 weeks away, but they are definitely coming." President Sullivan nodded. He was not surprised. Earth had been ready for this day since 1947. "How many ships?" 500, Dr. Martinez said. "Just like we expected." In another part of the base, Dr. Kevin Brooks was working on the final tests of their new weapons. He had spent his whole life studying alien technology. The pieces that crashed on Earth over the years had taught humans many things. Amy Richardson, the chief engineer, ran into the room. "Kevin, the power cores are ready. We can charge all the weapons and shields at the same time now." Kevin smiled. "Good. Make sure every ship has the new cores installed. We only get one chance at this." Back on Nexus Prime, the council was voting. Each species held up a glowing crystal to show their choice. All 12 crystals glowed green. The vote was unanimous. They would invade Earth. Admiral Kethmore stepped forward. He was a warrior from the Hegemony Fleet, the strongest military force in the galaxy. His people had conquered over 100 worlds. He had never lost a battle. "I will take 500 ships," he said. "The humans will surrender when they see our fleet. If they do not surrender, we will destroy their major cities. They will give up quickly." Vexthara was pleased. "Excellent. Take whatever you need. This should be easy work." The Admiral bowed. "I will bring you their surrender in 1 month." As the council members left the hall, none of them noticed the small device hidden in the wall. It looked like part of the crystal structure, but it was actually a human spy camera. The device had been there for 5 years, sending everything back to Earth. On Earth, Commander Tony Walsh watched the council meeting on a screen. He was in charge of Luna Base, a secret human outpost on the dark side of the moon. The base had been there for 15 years, but the aliens had never seen it. "They still think we are stupid," he said to Captain Maria Santos. "They have no idea what is coming." Maria checked her weapon systems. She commanded a fleet of 50 human ships that were hidden in the asteroid belt. The ships used technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. "Let them come," she said. "We have been waiting for this fight our whole lives." Admiral Steve Parker received the message from Luna Base. He was the commander of the Earth Defense Force, a military group that did not officially exist. His ships were hidden all over the solar system, waiting for orders. "All units," he said into his communicator. "The aliens are coming. Operation Homecoming starts now." All across Earth, secret bases came alive. Weapons that had been hidden for decades powered up. Ships that looked like asteroids shed their disguises. Soldiers who had trained their whole lives for this moment checked their equipment one last time. The Galactic Council thought they were invading a weak, primitive world. They thought the humans would run or surrender without a fight. They thought it would be easy. They were wrong about everything. The news of the failed invasion reached Nexus Prime 3 days later. Vexthara read the report 3 times before she could believe it. Admiral Kethmore had lost over half his fleet to a species that was supposed to be primitive. "This is impossible," she said to the Emergency Council meeting. "Humans do not have this technology. Our intelligence reports show they barely have space flight." The spider-like council member clicked his mandibles nervously. "Perhaps our intelligence was wrong. When was the last time we actually sent scouts to their system?" Vexthara checked her records. She did not like what she found. 50 years ago, but that should not matter. Primitive species do not advance that quickly. On Earth, General Frank Morrison walked through the Prometheus base. a massive underground facility built inside the Rocky Mountains. The base had been producing warships for 20 years, but the Council had never detected it. "How many ships are ready?" he asked Dr. Rebecca Turner. 200 in the main fleet," she replied. "Another 100 in the reserve squadrons. Plus, our allies are sending support?" The general smiled. "Allies?" Dr. Turner activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy. Red dots marked Council worlds, but blue dots showed something the aliens did not know existed. Human colonies and allied species were scattered across dozens of star systems. "The aquatic Delians have been our friends for 10 years, she explained. "They hate the Council for destroying their homeworld. They have 50 ships ready to help. Us." Engineer Carl Davis was working in the captured alien ship that had crashed near Earth's moon. His team had been studying Council technology for 6 months, ever since they captured the scout ship. "I think I understand how their faster-than-light drives work," he told his assistant, Dr. Helen Carter. "It is actually simpler than our method. We can copy it and make it better." Dr. Carter looked at the alien engine. "How much better?" "3 times faster," Carl said with a grin. "Maybe 4 times. These aliens are smart, but they think inside a box. They never try new ideas." Captain Helen Carter led a special mission, team aboard the stealth ship Phantom. Their job was to hit Council supply bases and gather intelligence. They had been doing this for months without the aliens knowing. "Target is the supply depot at Kepler Station," she told her crew. "Intelligence says they store fuel and weapons there for the border fleets." The Phantom dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Council station. The alien base was huge, with dozens of ships docked around it. But the humans had learned to be very quiet. "Stealth mode active," reported the pilot, Lieutenant Carl Anderson. "They cannot see us." Helen's team moved through the station like ghosts. They planted explosives in the fuel storage areas and copied data from the alien computers. The whole operation took 2 hours. "Package delivered," Helen reported as they escaped. Heading home. Behind them, Kepler Station exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from 3 star systems away. The Council lost enough fuel and weapons to supply a whole fleet. Dr. Peter Williams made a breakthrough in his laboratory on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. He had been studying alien biology, looking for weaknesses in Council species. "Each species has a different weakness," he explained to his research team. "The Zephyrians cannot handle certain sound frequencies. The lizard people are sensitive to specific types of radiation. We can make weapons that target each species individually." Meanwhile, the Council was gathering a much larger invasion force. They had called in fleets from all 12 member species. Over 1,000 ships were heading toward Earth. But Admiral Jennifer Ross was not waiting for them to arrive. She commanded the Human Deep Strike Fleet, ships designed to attack far from Earth. Her mission was to hit the Council where they least expected it. "All ships, prepare for jump," she ordered from the bridge of the EDS Vengeance. "Target is Nexus Prime itself." Her fleet of 30 ships vanished into faster-than-light travel. They would reach the Council's capital world before the invasion fleet reached Earth. Captain Derek Johnson had a different mission. He was in charge of psychological warfare, using captured Council communication systems to broadcast messages across their territory. "People of the galaxy," his message began, "the Council has lied to you. They told you humans were primitive and weak, but we have defeated their best fleet and destroyed their supply bases. The Council is not as strong as they pretend to be." The message went out on every Council frequency. Millions of beings across the galaxy heard it. Many of them lived under Council rule and did not like it. For the first time, they heard that someone was fighting back successfully. Dr. Elizabeth Murphy studied the psychological profiles of Council species. Her job was to understand how aliens thought, so humans could predict their actions. The Council. "Species are very rigid in their thinking," she reported to the War Council. "They make plans and stick to them even when the plans are not working. Humans change plans constantly. This gives us a huge advantage." Colonel Jake Anderson led the most dangerous mission of all. His Special Forces team had infiltrated Council space weeks ago. Their job was to gather intelligence from inside enemy territory. Council fleet composition confirmed, he reported from a hidden base on an asteroid. 1,200 ships, but they are not all combat vessels. Many are support ships and transports. His team had been watching Council preparations for weeks. They knew exactly what the aliens were planning and when they would attack. Back on Earth, President Jack Sullivan met with his military leaders. The second wave of Council ships would arrive in 1 week. This time, the aliens would bring everything they had. "Are we ready?" he asked Admiral Steve Parker. "More than ready," the Admiral replied. "The aliens still think they are fighting primitive humans. They have no idea we have been preparing for this war for 50 years, Commander Tony Walsh reported from Luna Base. "All defense systems are online. Our new weapons are installed and tested. The moon-based mass driver is ready to fire." The mass driver was humanity's secret weapon. It could fire projectiles at nearly the speed of light, turning chunks of rock into planet-killing weapons. The Council had never seen anything like it. Captain Maria Santos checked her fighter squadrons. "Pilots are ready, sir. We have been training for this battle our whole lives." As the week passed, more human allies revealed themselves. The bird-like Avian sent a small fleet. Several rebel groups from Council territory offered to help. Even some Council member species began to question whether they were on the right side. The Second Council invasion force was massive, but it was heading into a trap that had been 50 years in the making. The aliens thought they were fighting a primitive world. They were about to learn that humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The Second Council fleet was 3 times larger than the first. 1,200 ships approached Earth's solar system in a formation that stretched across millions of kilometers. 3 different alien admirals commanded the force, each certain that their combined might would crush the human resistance. Admiral Zektar of the Saurid Empire led the main battle group. His reptilian features showed no emotion as he studied the tactical displays. "This time we will not underestimate them," he said to his fellow commanders. "We will destroy every human ship before we demand surrender." Admiral Vorthak of the Insectoid Hive commanded the left flank. His compound eyes could see multiple spectrums of light at once. "My scouts report no human activity in the outer system," he clicked in his strange language. "Perhaps they have given up." The third commander, Admiral Yelnus of the Crystalline Collective, focused her mental energy on the task ahead. Her people communicated through thought patterns that other species could barely understand. "I sense something wrong," she warned. "The space around Earth feels different than it should." But the other admirals ignored her concerns. They were focused on revenge for the First Fleet's defeat. Unknown to them, Admiral Jennifer Ross had already reached Nexus Prime with her strike fleet. The human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel just outside the Council's capital system. The sight that greeted them was exactly what they had hoped for. "Most of their defense fleet is gone," reported Captain Diana Foster from the scout ship EDS Falcon. "They sent everything to attack Earth. Nexus Prime is practically defenseless." Jennifer smiled grimly. "All ships, begin attack run. Primary targets are the orbital defense platforms. Secondary targets are the government buildings on the surface. The human strike force hit Nexus Prime like a hammer blow. Orbital weapons platforms that had protected the Council capital for centuries exploded one after another. The few remaining Council ships tried to fight back, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. On the planet's surface, Vexathera felt the ground shake as human weapons struck the city around her. She had never imagined that primitive beings could threaten the Council's most protected world. "How is this possible?" she demanded of her advisors. "How did they get ships here so quickly?" Her intelligence chief, a pale creature with 6 arms, checked his reports with shaking hands. "The humans have faster-than-light travel that is superior to ours," he admitted. They can move their fleets 3 times faster than we can. Back at Earth, the massive Council fleet finally arrived. Admiral Zektar gave the order to attack, expecting to overwhelm the human defenses through sheer numbers. But the humans had spent the week preparing surprises. Commander Tony Walsh activated Lunabase's secret weapon. The mass driver built into the moon's surface fired a projectile the size of a small building at nearly the speed of light. The tungsten rod hit the lead Council ship and went completely through it, leaving a perfectly round hole from bow to stern. Direct hit, Tony reported with satisfaction. Their flagship is dead in space. Admiral Steve Parker commanded the main human fleet from his position near Earth. All units, execute Plan Omega. Let them see what we have really been building. Across the solar system, human ships that had been disguised as asteroids shed their camouflage. Space stations that looked like debris revealed themselves to be weapon platforms. Even some of the smaller moons opened up to reveal hidden missile silos. Captain Ryan Mitchell led the EDS Liberty and her sister ships in the first wave of attacks. The human vessels moved with precision that amazed their enemies. They could change direction instantly, accelerate to impossible speeds, and coordinate their attacks with perfect timing. Target the command ships first, Ryan ordered. Cut off their communications and they will fight like separate fleets instead of one big one. The battle raged across the entire solar system. Human fighter squadrons, led by Captain Maria Santos, darted between the massive alien ships like insects attacking elephants. But these insects had stingers that could kill. Remember your training, Maria told her pilots over the radio. Hit and run. Do not try to fight them head-on. Use your speed and keep moving. Dr. Nathan Cole and Chief Engineer Laura Thompson worked frantically aboard the EDS Darwin, analyzing enemy ship designs in real time. Every few minutes, they sent updates to the human fleet about new weaknesses they had discovered. Their shield generators are located in the rear section, Laura reported. If we can hit them from behind, we can take down their defenses completely. Captain Alex Turner led a squadron of captured Council ships deep behind enemy lines. The Bibiopo aliens did not know these ships had been taken by humans, so they flew right into the Council formation without being detected. Wait for my signal, Alex told his crews. Let them get close, then hit them with everything we have. When he gave the order, 20 ships that the Council thought were friendly suddenly opened fire from point-blank range. The surprise attack destroyed an entire wing of Council battleships in seconds. Admiral Zektar watched his carefully planned formation fall apart. The humans fought like no enemy he had ever faced. They used tricks and deception that would be considered dishonorable by Council standards. Sir, his communications officer reported, we are receiving a transmission from Nexus Prime. The capital is under attack. The Admiral could not believe what he was hearing. Impossible! All human ships are here fighting us. But Captain Derek Johnson proved him wrong. From his position aboard a stealth ship near Nexus Prime, Derek broadcast a message that went out across the entire galaxy. People of the galaxy, his voice said clearly. This is Captain Derek Johnson of the human fleet. As I speak, our ships are attacking the Council capital. The Council told you they were invincible. They told you resistance was useless. We are proving them wrong. The message included video of Council ships exploding and defense platforms being destroyed. Beings across the galaxy saw their supposedly all-powerful rulers being defeated by a species they had called primitive. Colonel Jake Anderson and his Special Forces team took advantage of the chaos to infiltrate the Council's main command center. On Nexus Prime, they moved through the building like shadows, planting explosives and gathering intelligence. Package delivered, Jake reported as his team escaped. The Council's military headquarters will be offline for months. Dr. Peter Williams put his biological weapons research to use. Human ships began firing special ammunition designed to exploit alien physiology. Zephyrian ships found their crews paralyzed by sonic weapons. Saurid vessels had their life support systems attacked by targeted viruses. The tide of battle turned completely when Admiral Jennifer Ross led her strike fleet back from Nexus Prime. The human ships appeared behind the Council formation just as Admiral Parker's forces attacked from the front. "All ships, converge on the enemy command group," Jennifer ordered. "End this battle now." Admiral Yelness, whose crystalline people could sense mental patterns, felt the change in the battle immediately. "We are defeated," she broadcast to the wide other Council commanders. "The humans have outfought us at every turn." Admiral Vorthak refused to believe it. "We still outnumber them 5-1. "Numbers mean nothing," Yelness replied sadly, "when the enemy is smarter, faster, and better prepared than you are." As Council ships began to retreat or surrender, Admiral Zektar finally understood the truth. The humans had not just won this battle. They had been planning for this war since before first contact. Everything the Council thought they knew about. Humanity had been carefully crafted deception. Captain Susan Clark, commanding the human cruiser EDS Determination, accepted the surrender of a Council battleship. As alien officers were taken prisoner, she realized that this war was almost over. The Council had thrown everything they had at Earth and failed. Now human fleets were striking deep into Council territory, and their allies were joining the fight. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the failed invasion of Earth, the galaxy looked completely different. Human fleets patrolled former Council territory while alien leaders sat in prison cells. The war that was supposed to last one day had ended with humanity, ruling half the known galaxy. Admiral Susan Clark stood on the bridge of the EDS New Hope as it approached Nexus Prime. The Council capital world was now under human administration, and she was the military governor. The city below showed signs of the battle, but also signs of rebuilding. "Ma'am," her communications officer reported, "the surrender ceremony is ready to begin." Susan nodded. Today, the last Council holdouts would formally surrender. The Zephyrian remnant fleet had been hiding in the Outer Rim for months, but they had finally agreed to give up. In the former Council chambers, Vexathara sat in chains. The proud alien leader who had ordered the invasion of Earth was now a prisoner of war. Her telepathic abilities had been blocked by human technology, leaving her feeling blind and helpless. Commander Paul Harris entered the room. He was the human diplomat assigned to handle the formal surrender. Despite everything the Council had done, he treated the aliens with respect. "The terms are simple," he said, placing a document on the table. "Complete surrender of all military forces, reparations for the damage caused by your invasion, and cooperation with the new galactic government." Vexthara looked at the papers with her large, dark eyes. "What guarantee do we have that humans will not treat us the way we treated other species?" Paul sat down across from her. "Because we are not you. We believe different species can work together as equals. The Council believed in rule through fear. We believe in rule through cooperation. Across the galaxy, the truth about human expansion was finally being revealed." Dr. Christine Baker led teams of scientists who were documenting the real scope of human civilization. "What they found amazed even other humans. We have colonies in over 200 star systems," she reported to the new Galactic Assembly. "Some of them have been there for 50 years. We have been quietly spreading across the galaxy while the Council thought we were trapped on one world." The assembly hall was full of representatives from dozens of species. Many were former Council members who had switched sides during the war. Others were species that had been oppressed by the Council for centuries. Captain Diana Foster, now serving as human liaison to the aquatic Delions, helped coordinate the relief efforts on their homeworld. The fish-like beings had been forced to live in exile after the Council destroyed their oceans. Now, with human technology, they were rebuilding their world. "The water purification systems are working perfectly," Diana reported. "Your people will be able to return home within a year." The Delian leader, reef singer Miroth, expressed gratitude in the musical language of her people. Humans keep their promises, she sang. The Council only made threats. On Earth, President Jack Sullivan met with his advisors to plan the future. The victory had been total, but now came the hard work of building a new galactic civilization. Some species are asking to join our federation, reported Dr. Rebecca Turner. The avians want full membership. Even some former council species are interested. General Frank Morrison was more cautious. We need to be careful. We do not want to become what the council was. Power can corrupt anyone, even humans. The president nodded. That is why we are setting up the assembly as a democracy. No one species will have complete control, not even us. In the Prometheus base, engineer Carl Davis was working on the next generation of human technology. Studying captured council, equipment had given humanity new ideas about faster-than-light travel, energy generation, and space construction. We can build ships twice as big as anything the council ever made, he told Dr. Kevin Brooks. But more importantly, we can build them twice as fast. Dr. Peter Williams had moved on from weapons research to medical technology. His studies of alien biology were now being used to help heal the wounds of war. We can cure diseases that have plagued some species for thousands of years, he explained to the medical council. The crystalline collective has a genetic disorder that we can fix with simple gene therapy. The former council species were learning to adapt to their new reality. Some, like the aquatic Delians, embraced human leadership. Others, like the reptilian saurids, remained suspicious, but cooperated because they had no choice. Admiral Jennifer Ross commanded the human exploration fleets that were mapping previously unknown regions of the galaxy. Every day they discovered new worlds and new species that had been hidden from the Council. There is so much more out there than we thought, she reported. The Council only controlled about 30% of the galaxy. The rest is full of independent worlds that want to trade and cooperate. Captain Alex Turner had been promoted to lead the new Galactic Patrol, a police force made up of volunteers from many species. Their job was to keep peace in the growing Federation and hunt down pirates and criminals. Crime is actually decreasing, he reported to the Assembly. When people have hope for a better future, they are less likely to turn to violence. The transformation of Nexus Prime symbolized the change in galactic civilization. The crystal spires that had housed the Council's bureaucracy were being converted into schools and hospitals. The military bases were becoming research centers. Robert Chen, a human architect, was designing the new assembly building. It would be larger than the old council chambers, with space for representatives from hundreds of species. The building will have environmental controls for every type of being we know about, he explained to the construction crew. Aquatic sections, for water breathers, high-gravity areas for dense world species, even zero-gravity zones for spaceborne races. In her prison cell, Vexithara received regular visits from human doctors and psychologists. They were trying to understand how the Council had become so corrupt and violent. The research would help prevent similar problems in the future. Dr. Elizabeth Murphy led these interviews. The Council started with good intentions, she told her colleagues. They wanted to bring peace to the galaxy, but they became convinced that only they knew what was best for everyone. How do we avoid the same mistake? Asked her assistant. By never forgetting that we can be wrong, Elizabeth replied. The moment any species thinks it has all the answers is the moment it becomes dangerous. The final surrender ceremony took place in orbit around Earth. The last Council fleet, commanded by Admiral Kethmore, formally gave up their weapons. The alien admiral who had led the first invasion looked very different now. His arrogance was gone, replaced by a kind of confused respect. I do not understand humans, he admitted to Admiral Steve Parker as he handed over his command codes. You fight like demons, but you treat prisoners like guests. You could have destroyed us all, but instead you offer us a place in your new government. Steve smiled. That is the difference between us and the Council. We see enemies as future. Friends, you saw everyone as either servants or threats. As the ceremony ended, Captain Ryan Mitchell flew his ship, the EDS Liberty, past the surrendering alien vessels. The war was over. Humanity had not just defended Earth, they had liberated an entire galaxy. The epilogue came a year later. In the new assembly building on Nexus Prime, representatives from over 300 species worked together to solve galactic problems. Humans held important positions, but they shared power willingly. President Jack Sullivan, now serving as the first elected leader of the Galactic Federation, gave the opening speech of the new government. "We gather here not as conquerors and conquered," he said, "but as equals working toward a better future. The Council ruled through fear. We will lead through hope." In the audience, former Councilor Vex Thara listened to the speech. She had been released from prison after agreeing to help with the transition. Her people, the Zephyrians, were learning to use their telepathic abilities to help rather than control. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Underestimating humanity had not just been a military mistake, it had been a failure to understand. What made humans truly dangerous? Not their weapons or their technology, but their refusal to accept that anything was impossible. The Council had approved the invasion of Earth thinking it would be easy. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant that would reshape the entire galaxy. And in the end, that giant had chosen to use its strength not to dominate, but to liberate.